there's a lot of positive put on the table there about immigration. What do you hear from your constituents? Are they pushing back on that at all?
Well, no, the problem needs to be solved, and so our hope is that the problem is fixed at the federal level, and then the demographics of the state are very poor. So the city, we talked about the city population falling, the county lost population for the very first time in the census, and the state itself lost a congressional seat yet again. The birth rate amongst the white population is down to 1.5, national population 1.9, 2.1 replaces the population. So any society that has a growing population, you see economic growth and opportunity. Missouri doesn't have that. It's going to be solved by immigration.
What are the trade-offs? What's the downside to this?
I think there's no downside to legal immigration. So I think if this is reconciled and the immigrants become legal and the country as a whole is satisfied with the outcome, I think it's a positive. You look at the history of our country, it's been wave upon wave of legal immigration that drove our country forward.
Okay, so what about illegal immigration? Is that a concern?
Well, of course. I'm old enough to remember the '86 reform. And I think that what we can't have happen is what happened between '86 and now. I think for the country to celebrate reform, there has to be a sense of deep confidence that that won't happen again.
Take us back to then. What did happen? This is when President Reagan provided what a lot of people consider just flat amnesty. What don't you think should be repeated about that '86?
Well, it ended up being amnesty, but there wasn't protections with respect to the continuation of illegal immigration into the country. So I think for the country to celebrate and to rally behind and have a vast majority of the country feel that this is the right step, they have to be confident of the fact that this won't happen again. That 10, 15, 20 years now, we're trying to reconcile what do we do with 10, 15 million people who are here undocumented. Okay,
go back to when I introduced you, we talked about you're on the blue ribbon community. As you pointed out, this is not a state issue that the state can necessarily solve itself, other than you spoke about the border states kind of taking on. What is the blue ribbon community
here's the blue ribbon panel. What we did is the last 2 years, Missouri kind of got caught up with the other states in terms of the frustration about the lack of movement at the federal level. We tried to introduce laws that we thought could be effective in really fixing a federal problem. And I'm new to the General Assembly as of 2 years ago. So what we did at the end of last May, when we finished our session, was to form a panel to go out into the community and to hear from leaders, to hear your panel tonight. We heard from all of them. We learned about what was going on. We learned the positives and negatives. We learned the need for immigration populations to grow in Missouri. We met in St. Louis, we met in Kansas City, met in Jefferson City. And so what became of that panel discussion was some minor things the state can do, like licensing and accreditation. But more importantly, it kind of put us at ease. We were going to try to do what we could to attract immigrants to Missouri. And now, after the election cycle is over, and now this becomes the federal talk, we're very pleased.
Let's go back one more time to your introduction. I said you're a Republican from Ladue, and then maybe let's go back to my first question to the table when I said, is there a disconnect and some misconceptions about immigration? I don't think immigration is a top issue for Ladue. Why is this important to you? Where does your passion come for this to be on this committee?
Well, I mean, I want to see Missouri be an economic success. Missouri's GDP is exactly the same as it was 4 years ago, and the prospects for resurgence of our state's GDP is very slim. It's tied to demographics. And I have a passion for St. Louis. I grew up here. I love St. Louis. I hate to see what's been happening to St. Louis. I was disturbed. It was the first time where St. Louis County lost population in my lifetime. And those trends are going to continue. We're going to solve for it through immigration.
State Senator John Lamping, thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for being in the studio and speaking.